year they contact us and say, hey, can we get on your schedule to be a food vendor? So, I mean, it's a good gig when they're able to make it.
So what is one of your, not one of the clubs, but your personal favorite? What's one of your personal favorite food trucks out there?
Oh, well, All Wrapped Up does, I mean, for a race in August when you don't want a hot burrito or tacos, All Wrapped Up does these amazing wraps and sandwiches and different flavors and just really something that hits the spot on a race day. But on like the night race time, oh man, Kaye Tacos is a great taco truck. They have a unique regional type of Mexican food. So anyone listening, go find them on Facebook. Tell them you listen to us from the NKC because they're a great supporter of our club. And those are two trucks that always want to be involved in our season.
Okay, so the first one was That's a Wrap, or?
It's All Wrapped Up.
Oh, All Wrapped Up. And the second one was Kaye Tacos.
Yeah, Kaye
like
Tacos.
Yippee Kaye?
Yeah, like Kaye, like street. Yeah, street tacos.
Oh, Kaye. Oh, okay. Calle.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking of Bruce Willis. Yippee Kaye.
I guess I could. I got to spell that. Yeah, because Kaye could be. Yeah. Who knows what we're thinking?
I didn't know if you were like forgetting the rest of the taco word. All right. Well, thanks for taking the time to talk to us tonight. I really do appreciate it. And to our listeners, go check out the Northern Nevada Kart Club. It's nnkcreno.com. And then you guys also have a social media presence. You have Facebook. Are you on Instagram or any of those other social sites?
We're on all of them, but really get in with our Facebook page because we do a lot of our updating right there in the moment, and that's the best way to see what's going on at this time. So when we announce, like we just announced that our May race is going to be postponed, and as of right now, June 7th, that's the one that we're marking on our calendar as race number 1 for NNKC, barring any other changes. But if everything goes the way they look like they're going, that's going to be our first race. So if anything were to change, check the Facebook page, and that's going to be where you're going to find it.
June 7th, and that is going to be, let's see here, track number 4.
Who are we on? You've got the calendar. Are we on anybody? Is that on top of any other races? I know that when we made our schedule, we did the best we could to try to not compete and make it as inclusive. But, man, there was so much racing going on, and now that we have such a limited time, I feel that that's going to be even a tougher sell. So we're going to be racing on top of racing a lot when everything resumes. But
yeah, I'm not going to lie. I kind of threw my calendar in the trash.
Did you? Okay, then that's fine. I'm fine with that.
The first week of the stay-at-home order, I was like, oh, okay, this will blow over. We'll get back to racing. And the second week, I started looking at the calendar. It's like, okay, what's coming? It's like, wait a second. I mean, the calendar is always so filled, and I'm looking at it, and I just got so depressed. It's like, there's so much racing that's getting canceled or postponed. But back to your question, June 7th. We would have had, and I'm saying would have, so for those that are listening, this is not official until our governor says go have fun again. But there was Prairie City was that weekend. Gold Rush and the Stockton kart track had an event going on. Oh yeah, and then you guys you had a race on there as well. Is yours a night race? No, that's not the night race.
No, I believe that was our August. Was going to be our night race, and hopefully still will be. Should be. Doesn't seem to be a reason why we should. But let's hope. I mean, selfishly, I want us to be racing on June 7th, but I also want everyone to. So my hope is that Prairie City gets to race, that Gold Rush gets to race, that Stockton gets to race. I hope everyone is racing. But if they're not, and we are, and people are allowed to travel, then they're welcome to come race at ours. If we are having our race, then I don't see why we would have any restrictions, why we couldn't have people come over and race with us.
Yeah, and I think once you guys can't make any plans right now. I mean, you can only say
no.
If we can go race, our first race is June 7th, and
right.
I think for your local karting base, that's perfectly fine because now they can plan around it. And I think all the clubs at some point, you can always use the calendar, norcal-karters.com. If you see you guys have races stacked on top of each other, maybe give that club a quick call and say, hey, what can we do? What can we do a Saturday? You do a Sunday. Can we do a co-op, or who knows, maybe even a crossover points race or something? Because when this thing blows over, the floodgates of race promoting is just going to open up.
Yes. Yeah, and that's why hopefully everyone within the karting community can work together on how everyone can succeed in this. And we don't need to have a bunch of winners and losers. I mean, we need to make sure that everyone in the karting community is covered and taken care of. And unfortunately, that is going to be a tough thing to do with everyone wanting to race at the same time, but hopefully we'll all be able to work together at some point on it or in some way to make it smooth and work for everyone, especially the ones that have to travel for it.
Yeah. I'm looking at the calendar for today. What is it, April 29th? And you have your board meeting next Tuesday, which is also
probably not going to happen. Yeah.
Who would
we're not
plan anything on Cinco de Mayo? That's just not right.
We have a charter that at the first Tuesday of the month we have to do our meeting is really what the charter says. So
got it.
That's why it falls on that. All right, who's coming with a sombrero?
And margaritas.
That's right. But we do it at Denny's, so it's all good.
Okay. So I'm looking at when you brought up the calendar to go check out that June 7th date. I'm looking at this coming weekend. SCUSA Pro Tour was supposed to be happening. Prairie City should have been on their fourth race already. Blue Max, they would have been hosting the Gold Rush race this weekend. And in the NorCal 80 group, they were supposed to be at Blue Max this weekend. Yeah, like I said, when this whole thing happened, I did about 2 weeks of the podcast, and then it's like I just stopped looking at the calendar because I was so bummed out because I have all the clubs and all the promoters in different colors. So I had this beautiful rainbow of events on my screen, and I just didn't have the desire or the heart to sit there and go postponed.
Mm.
But
I don't blame you. It's hard. I mean, it's hard to see that. I can imagine.
Yeah, soon we'll be back to normal.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's talk about your racing real quick, and then I'll let you go for the night. You mentioned earlier you run the KA 100.
Yeah. So when I got into the sport, like I said, that my brother-in-law, who's into shifters, but he's actually more into planes. So he's got shifters only when he feels like going out to the track, and when he does, I mean, he has a good time. But he likes flying planes more. But he thankfully got me into the sport, and I don't have planes. I just have a kart, and that's all I want to do. So I went all in, but I really had no idea where to start. So I went to Rodney Rivera over at Nevada Kart Sport.
Yep.
And we talked karting, and he gave me a whole lowdown on the 206. And told me how it's great racing and it's a fun class, easy, relatively cost-effective to do, all of these things. And then he gave me the other option of the KA, which, I mean, two years ago it was just coming out and it was a newer thing. So he said, hey, this is a class that's jumping and going to grow, and it's definitely faster than the 206, but being air cooled, a lot easier than the tag and easier on your budget with the tires and all of that. So I said, well, and I fortunately was able to get in when they had the Miami deal. So I got the motor, threw it on an old Tau kart that my brother-in-law gave me, and raced my first season. Was terrible. Had to learn the kart. Kind of jumped over to an older Tony kart. that gave me a little more confidence. I drove a little bit better, got a little faster, and then this past year really was kind of where I started to figure out how to put a fast lap in. But what I tell everyone is I don't know how to race yet. I feel like racing is one of those things where the racecraft comes after years and years of toiling and doing it and getting the seat time, the racing, and then that happens. Because I get into a race and I get tunnel vision and slow down and just not as good. So that's really my goal in the sport, is to learn racecraft and have fun. I don't think I'm ever going to be racing anything above a regional race. So I'll go to Supernats and enjoy watching all those guys out there, but that is not something that I really want to get to. Like I said, I played baseball, I did all that stuff, so I don't really have anything to prove other than to myself, which is a tough thing for someone that's competitive, because I'm always trying to improve and do a little bit better, but age is making that even harder. And I'm 42 years old, and I still think like I'm 22 when I'm in the cart, so it's kind of hard. Yeah, the body doesn't like it, and I was actually just in the cart today out at the track this morning, first time in 2 months, and I was terribly slow and could barely even get past 11 laps without my shoulder just dying on me. So I'm like, man, I am so out of karting shape. But it just reminded me how great this sport is, and that it's not easy. I don't like anything that is easy. And so this thing, to be good at it, takes so long and so much time and effort. And I have so much respect for the long-time karters, or even the kids that could get in and just pick it up. I mean, they just have that talent. So I love watching the sport. I love being in the sport. I just want it to grow, and I hope that we can get through this and that karting is still on the up and up when we get through it.
Yeah, I think karting, we have some challenges ahead of us as an industry, but it's being able to react to the situation that's given to us. But yeah, I mean, karting is such a great sport, and I've been at the national level for so long because of my day job, and I got burnt out on it. I mean, I've met some of the best people, all over the country and from all over the world because of the role I played. But I just got burnt out with the whole production. And it wasn't until a couple of years ago that I really got fired back up about karting, just at the local Blue Max Kart Club. My buddy Patrick conned me into getting into a Briggs cart, and I said I would never do it. And I did it. And just hanging out at the local track, you have, the families working on the carts together. You have the guy with his Harbor Freight trailer barely making it to the track and is working on his cart all day long just to go do 10 laps at the end. And I mean, it's like you have everybody there. And I'm looking around, I go, this is the part of karting that I really enjoy and I love, because it's such a stripped down version of motorsports. And when you're just saying, oh, it takes so much time, it takes so many years, the racecraft, etc. My only piece of advice would probably be to anyone that hears that and agrees is, yes, it takes a lot of time, but it's also a lot of seat time with competitive racers. And I'm a shifter guy, and I went backwards, and I went to the Briggs, and I really enjoyed the slower pace of the Briggs from a racing standpoint, because it's almost like a chess game, and you have to think your moves out. You just can't throw it in on a guy and make the pass stick, and if you mess it up, jump right back on the gas and get back in. No, you lose a lap. I mean, so you got to be very precise, and you don't want to screw that guy up, because he's going to return the favor. You don't want to screw yourself up, because then the guy 2-3 carts behind you, he's going to get both of you. And And I wish more of the local stuff would really push those slower classes for the newer people, so they can at least think and process the sport and learn, like you said, that racecraft and driving. But yeah, I kind of